Your anticipation will be rewarded. It will definitely be worth it. It will be worth it for you to meet this wonderful woman, an amazing author, and I think she's probably going to scare you. But if not, the book you see across the screen is one you need to put your hands on. Pick up a copy today. Right now, we're going to have the pleasure and the honor to be with Lady Dunn. She's coming your way in just a moment. I know you're out there somewhere. Lady Dunn, are you out there?
Yeah, I'm out here. I got to tell you, this opening is kind of creeping me out, and I don't get creeped out easily. So talk about suspense.
Oh my goodness!
I can't believe it. It's like you're giving me a stomach ache here. Yes, I'm here, and I'm really excited to be out in California with my old stomping grounds. So I took a plane in last night. So it's nice to be on the same time zone as some of you out there.
I know. Back east is your time zone. Normally
yes,
from Connecticut, correct? Yeah.
Well, New York, Connecticut, yeah. Stanford, yeah.
All right.
So normally that's where I flew in from JFK. Lost my phone at the airport. But I gotta say, some very nice person found it and turned it in, and I was amazed by that. But
that's rare.
No, it is rare, but it shows me that there are good people in this world, even if they don't show up necessarily in my books. But
that's true. That's true. Now, wait, how many books have you published? How many books have you written?
All right. So I've written 5, actually 6 books, and I've published 3 books. And one of the books came out like 2 different publishers. Yes. But this is my first psychological thriller. My last one, Last Stop on the 6th, was more about a dysfunctional family with more secrets, but and it was a mystery, but it was also like kind of more comedic, although the psychological thriller, Her Father's Daughter, some people who have twisted minds like mine find humor in it. But this is my 3rd book, and I think the thriller genre is kind of where I'm feeling most comfortable.
Why do you feel most comfortable in the psychological thriller kind of a vibe to it?
Okay, well, my daughter might say is because, like I said earlier, I have a twisted mind, but I started writing this book not thinking it was going to be a thriller. This voice just came to me of this man, and I was during COVID, and it was my happy place, and he eventually revealed himself as a father, great father, but also a serial killer. And I think it's just because you get to go places that you don't necessarily go with other types of books. And I like putting people on the edge. And I like writing where I'm going to be so surprised and suspenseful and being on the edge. I want to make your stomach hurt, but not so much where you can't keep reading. No, what's funny is I'm here with one of my best friends. I know her from my college days at UCLA. And, I get here and I'm like, oh, you have my book? What'd you think? And she's an avid reader. And she's like, well, I was really loving it, but I read at night and it was too scary for me to keep going. And I'm like, what? Because, people just sometimes, I really think that when you're in the head of somebody who's a serial killer, it can be a little bit uncomfortable. So some people love that and other people get creeped out by it. So, yeah, but I got to
You try to creep them out?
Well, I didn't try. But because, I don't get serial killers, that kind of stuff. It's a controlled environment. I can watch that, read about that all day long, but I get freaked out by puppets. I have a weird idea of puppets. Yes. So what freaks me out are weird things like that. But with this book, I think that, my little background with why people are like, why am I so obsessed with serial killers? I grew up in the Bronx when I was 12 years old. It was the summer of Sam. Some of you out there may remember. I'm aging myself. But the summer I went through puberty, David Berkowitz, it was called the 45 caliber killer bird, the son of Sam, killed my best friend's cousin around the corner.
Wow.
And these are the days where they didn't even have the term, the FBI hadn't yet come out with the term serial killer. And I just got obsessed with this person. He killed people in Queens and in the Bronx. And eventually they did catch him. But then I had all these like 6 degrees of separation. He turned out to be my aunt's post office person. Later on, my husband, he was like his aunt and uncle gave him a puppy. There's a whole thing with a dog. So they thought that's the reason why he became a serial killer. But anyway, so since those days, I just read everything, watched every show about serial killers. Hannibal Lecter is one of my favorite characters. And I just have been like kind of obsessed by him. And then this voice of this man came out, and I just like couldn't stop writing about him. And then all of a sudden this daughter shows up, and she was harder to write than he was. But I think it's because she might be a little bit closer to my experience.
Now, the main character popped into your head, as it were. You thought of this character.
His voice.
His
I didn't
voice.
even think of him. He just became,
Okay.
He started telling me a love story about how he fell in love with this woman, and then it just goes from there. And as he tells this story, which in the book, he starts telling it to his daughter about how he fell in love with her mother, you find out that he also, thinks of himself as this actor. And in order to become very close to what he does as an actor, he becomes the characters that he observes, and the way he observes them is in a little bit twisted. I don't want to give away too much, but
no. Correct.
Yeah. And what I love, I mean, the best compliments people can say to me is that they kind of felt for him and almost had empathy, and that made them feel really uncomfortable. And that's what I'm hoping, because we're so complicated in this world. And, I think to see evil, you got to see good, and to mix that up in one character, it was a challenge. So
when you say complicated in this world, I know we're going to talk about your book, but that kind of piques
I got
my
to stay
interest.
away from politics. Okay.
What do you, you know how my channel runs. We're right down the middle there, but we're very neutral. But when it comes to a complicated world, I know you touched on some things when we did. Let me put this up for everybody real quick.
Yeah.
Everybody take a notice of this. The
Crime
four of us actually got together, but the three of you make the Crime Trio. We did a previous show in which we were a part of our International Book Lovers podcast. But when it comes to when you say complicated, you touched on some things a little bit in our first initial show of all of us together. What do you mean by complicated?
Well, the people in our lives who want to think that, people are like angels, the saints, that we worship, the people that we think are perfect. And then there are people that we just think are, just one way, and they're all bad. And nobody's like that. Maybe, as I'm older, if I've grown older, maybe there is pure evil in the world, but I don't want to read about that, right? I want to read about people that have both sides. And I think that it's just a world where we are complicated. I mean, I'm a nice person, but I have my days where I do some shitty things, and I won't go. Oh, sorry. I don't know if I was supposed to say that.
No, go ahead.
Okay. But like I'm a mom, and I've had some great mom days and some days where, okay, maybe nobody knocked at my door to take my kid away, but it was, I'm not proud of every moment, but I think that it's all about what our humanity is. And I think that's kind of what we read for.
How do you see humanity today as an author? If you had to describe as briefly as possible, because I know I'm watching the wheels turn in your head, but as briefly as possible, how would you describe humanity?
Well, I think what makes us human, it's okay. Let me back off a second. When we talk about humanity, or people say, "Where's your humanity?" They say it in a way where humanity is this good thing, and like if you were more, and humans aren't always so great to each other, right? This good friend of mine who was a therapist used to say, that expression where treat others as you treat yourselves, do unto others as you do yourself. And we don't treat ourselves great. So to do that means we don't treat a lot of other people great in our world. But I do think my dad used to call himself, and the character in my book is a little bit based on him. My dad was an exterminator and other things, but my dad used to always say, like, he's an optimist pessimist, right? So he didn't want to have like too much hope, but he couldn't help but being trusting and optimistic. And I think that's kind of how I feel. I want to believe always in the good in people. And when I can't find that on some days, that's why I go and write fiction, because I can kind of just do that in my writing and share that with the world. So
Yeah, I'm going to take a moment here, and this is just simply on a production side.
yeah,
There is I'm going to spell the name out, Leila. Do you know that name? Do you know that person?
Leila.
Yeah, okay. So they have a link to our backstage instead of watching the show through YouTube. So if you're trying to watch the show, you're going to not use that link that you may have a hand on. You need to watch the show on YouTube. We're also on LinkedIn right now. We're also on some other platforms.
Yeah, well, if that is the
So
Leela I'm thinking of, she's like one of my best friends. I'm going to see her in an hour, and I haven't seen her in a long
yeah,
time.
she
So
probably
yes,
has the link to that you have, which is she needs to use a different link. So you can go to, if you're trying to watch the show, you're going to need to go to youtube.com / at NATV Network. Matter of fact, let me help you out with that a little bit. I'm going to
okay,
put
that's
something up on the
YouTube.
screen for that person
Yeah,
so they
okay,
know, with all due respect, that the link you're using is not the one you want to have
all right, that's probably my
unless
bad.
you're on the show. But let me see here. I got it here somewhere.
Oh,
Maybe I
bring him
don't.
on the
I don't know.
show.
It's somewhere. We could, but today's your day, my friend.
All right, today's my
Uh,
day. See,
so
that's the
so,
yeah.
feel free to go to YouTube and go to NATV Network, NATV Podcasts, anything like that, and it'll get you to where you need to go.
Yeah, and it's a great network. So not only this show, but if you
So,
want to listen to
feel
all their
free to do
shows.
that. Hey, I want to do something here. I'm going to go back
Yep.
to something. I really like hearing this side of you and what you're talking about. We're going to have to do some more of that in the future. But here we go. I'm going to put this up. Will you please tell me about these two amazing people that you've agreed to work with as the Crime Trio, and let the public know about it?
Okay, so Deborah,
Wendy has been
yeah,
on our show 50 billion times. The
yes,
audience loves her to death. Deborah got her own podcast show
Deborah
that she
Levison
came on and
and
did.
Wendy,
But
Yeah,
yes, now it's your turn. But
and
tell
Wendy
us about
Whitman.
these two people and tell the public about them and what you guys got going on.
Well, I met them through, I'm a member of Sisters in Crime, specifically Sisters in Crime Connecticut. And I got to tell you that I met them like at an event, and we've all been inspired by like true crime. Wendy used to be somebody that worked actually in true crime TV, and Deborah had very much close experiences that her books are about, and they're both phenomenal writers. And so we started talking and doing shows together, and we both had such a great time because we get into it because, Wendy will have her ideas about, what's good, who's good and who's bad. And I'll kind of contradict that. And I just think that, it's just nice having those two together because, we know each other well enough where we could just say how we feel. And, it may sound to people like, we hate each other's guts, but we don't. Or maybe sometimes, but no, not too much. But yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, but we're, this is what we do. And we have been like kind of talking to a lot of people and doing a lot of shows and, and yeah, and it's great. And the books are so inspiring to me. And I've been inspired by like true crime and in terms of my writing. And the two of them have also had the same experience big time. And so we kind of share that with the readers and people that come and see us talk and also other writers as well. Because I've been teaching writing for over 25 years. So, we talk a lot about that and all that stuff.
When it comes to writing, what do you just mentioned they're phenomenal writers. In your mind, from your experience, not talking necessarily about them, but just in general,
What makes
in
phenomenal
your
writing?
preference, what makes a phenomenal writer?
Okay, well, that the work is authentic, that there's a story, but there's characters that you feel are real and you feel that you can connect to them. You don't have to like them. Actually, you can hate them. You may not want to I don't want to have Hannibal Lecter over for dinner, but you're so compelled by their
Okay.
characters and by their
All
story
right.
that you just keep reading. So
All right.
that's
So
what
now
kinda,
your character in this particular book that you have out now, her father's daughter, it's
Mhm.
written from his perspective or her perspective?
Both perspectives. So part of the book is told in the father story, and the other is the daughter story. So she's kind of in like present time, and she's been raised by this father. Her mother, which you find out in the book, there's a whole story behind her, but mother died at very soon after she was born, and this wonderful father has raised her, and they work in the exterminating business together. And he, on the anniversary of the mother's death, he goes out and does his yearly pilgrimage, and she has to do one of their like exterminating stops at this fancy building because she's worried about them losing the job because they're coming close to losing the business. And she comes across a dead body that's been eaten by rats, which is not very good for business if you're an exterminator. So that's kind of where it takes off. And then the father disappears and she's trying to clear his name. And, but in his words, he writes this long letter to his daughter in notebooks that she finds later about, how he fell in love with her mother. And then the reader finds out all these other secrets that she doesn't even realize. And they're pretty
family
horrible.
secrets,
Yeah.
secrets. So I'm going to say, go ahead. Nope, go ahead.
No, I don't think we can, every family's got secrets. And then, when they use those taglines and almost everything that you kind of read and all that. But if you didn't have, I don't know any family, anyone that tells me they don't have any family secrets, then I want to know what is the real secret. What is so bad about this family that they are saying they don't have any, because dysfunctional is that, to me, that's the way families are. Anybody that acts like their family is normal and functional and all that stuff, I'm like, okay, what are you hiding? Or what is it that you've blocked out in your life? So,
so the next book should be Dysfunctional Secrets, written by Lady Dunn. There, Dysfunctional
I am
Secrets.
writing another book right now. And
what's the name of that one? Oh, or does it have a name yet, or not too much on that, but just whatever you can tell us.
I can tell you the working title is The Disconnected, and it's about a lot of family secrets. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. So, when it comes to family secrets, let's since every family has them, let's talk about between you and your sister.
Some of your family secrets?
Between yours, I'm going to get to mine. But I'm going to go to yours first. Right. So when it comes to family secrets, let's say just between you and your sister, is your sister always there for you to let you know about lipstick and anything else like that?
All right, so my sister
lipstick on your
is
teeth or anything like that?
My sister's like the saint.
She told me that before the show, so I got to bring it up right now.
No, my sister's like, she's like the godmother of like 100 children. Like she's there, but she's also the morality compass in the family,
really?
right?
Oh, you didn't tell me that. Okay.
Yeah, no. So she's the baby, but she's the mature one. All right, I'm the immature one, and I'm the oldest. But my sister is the one who she'll tell me when I'm wearing something that doesn't look right. I actually, this is something that's a secret that she doesn't know about, but, and hopefully she's not listening, but she's one of those people that get very, everything's got to be in order. She's a finance person, and she gets very upset when I leave tags on clothing or hats or anything. And so I will purposely leave tags on things or wrapping on like a bag handle. If I have my bag somewhere, I'd show you, because when she sees it, it makes her crazy. And I'm like,
you do it on purpose?
Oh, I do it on purpose because I know it'll make her crazy. And once I've kind of aggravated her enough over it, then I'll take it off. But I just do it because I know these are the kind of things that bother.
She's one of those people.
She's somebody that's like, people actually have come up to me because they will fix. I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but you have a tag sticking out and they feel compelled. Now, since COVID, I haven't gotten it so much, but people would come up to me like in a Starbucks or a coffee house.
And you don't know them.
I don't know them at all. And they're fixing my tag. And I'm like, hey, I'm a friendly person, but what are you doing? So
why are you touching me?
Yeah, exactly.
Why are you touching me? Stop touching me.
Why are you touching me? So exactly. So it actually, those kind of situations do lead to like some great, stories. But but my sister's one of those people.
You know what? I just thought of? You have just revealed that on the planet there are tag people. There are tag removers.
No, are you kidding me?
Maybe that's another book you can. They're tag
not just
people.
Tag removers, but tag tuckers. I think that's why there's a whole tag tuckers. I think there should be like.
Hey, nobody steal that idea. That's
that should be a 12-step program because people, if you feel compelled to put people's tag that you don't even know,
tag tucker
it is like insane. And actually, that's a good trait for a character. No, I can have a whole that's something that people would kill over.
That's
an idea. Yes.
Matter of fact, let's say that's what creates the serial killer is that these people exist.
Wow, everybody that's a tag tucker.
And the police officer is trying to go like, "Are you saying?" They're like, "No, we have to stop them all."
We have to stop. Wow, that's actually not bad. We should write that together.
Yeah. Well, first of all, that's about all you're going to get out of me. That's all I can
okay. Well, that's enough.
So
that's enough. That's
with
great.
This guy that has a problem and starts this entire cult of vigilantes that come after tag. Yes, this whole thing. Okay, nobody can steal that. That is Pat's idea.
Okay, we got that. Yes. Okay.
So when it comes to your family,
Yeah.
And the way you interact as siblings. There's just the two of you, or is there other
No,
siblings?
my brother. Okay, so he's probably not listening either. But
You know this is going to get out to them, and I'm
okay,
going to
so
find them and
yeah,
send
all
them a
right.
copy
So
just so you guys can have more family
a lot of what I
dynamics.
write about, my last book is a lot about family, which is a little bit more biographical. But this too, I write a lot about actors or child actors and exterminators. My brother was
Huh.
a child actor. My dad was an exterminator, but he was also a stage father. And there was
Oh
a lot
wow.
of dynamics that went into that. And so my
Hmm.
brother, who's actually the shy one, even though, he was the child actor, we're a year and a half for like what they call Irish twins apart from each
Okay.
other.
Hmm.
And it's funny because my brother, they used to call him Wood for Hollywood. We grew up in the Bronx, and I went to Hollywood before he did, not to be on TV or anything. I just went out there because I just decided, I'm going to get in a car with 3 people and we're just going to drive to California and I'll see what happens. So I
How
left
old were
college and
you?
my scholarship,
Oh, in 20s?
20 years old. Yep.
Wow.
And
Okay.
I had a full scholarship at college. I just left it all. Anyway,
Oh wow.
yeah, no,
Learn something new
yeah,
every day
and I
about you,
spent more
lady.
time getting
Lady Dunn.
arrested than I did in school. But anyway,
Did
and
you really?
yeah,
Oh wait,
but for
we haven't even
social
went. Go
justice
ahead.
causes.
Yes, go
Yeah,
ahead.
no, I got
Yes,
arrested
you
for
did
like a
mention
lot
that.
of for
Hmm.
causes, not for well, actually the one time I did go to prison was because the only
Oh
time I
no,
went to
not for
prison,
but that one time.
yes, was because I had a warrant out, and in those days they didn't have like computers that told the cops why. And I got arrested for some protests. Everybody was getting cited out, and they're like, "Oh, we got to take you down to the toughest women's prison at the time in Los Angeles." And I'm like, "What?" It turned out that when I first moved to LA, I pulled up, and we didn't have seatbelt laws in New York yet, so I didn't have my seatbelt on. But this police officer came to my side and said, "Were you wearing your seatbelt?" Because I was dropping people off at the beach.
Uh-huh.
And I said, "Yeah." I mean, I lied. I said, "Yeah, I had my seatbelt on." The person behind me got nervous and said, "No, but I didn't think you needed one in the back seat." So she gave me a
Uh,
written warning, but
uh-huh.
never got anything in the mail, never thought anything about it.
Hmm.
7 years later, when I got, arrested at some peaceful protest where everybody was cited out, I was sent to prison, and I spent like the whole night there. And it was a very interesting experience. Met some great women. One person was in there because she stabbed her pimp in the eye, but I'm sure he deserved it, and I really liked her a lot. Yeah, it was a very interesting experience. But yeah, so that's my one night in prison. Which, yeah,
That
there's a
in
lot to go
itself
into.
sounds like a quick read book that you should make in itself. Just that
Yeah.
that
I've written,
alone.
yeah. Sometimes writing about those old things.
The
Yes,
life trials and times of a lady. Lady
yes,
Dunn, written by Lady
yes.
Dunn.
Nobody
But
called me a lady. Okay,
no,
yeah,
you're
I
right.
think you can't. Yeah,
When it comes to, let's do this. I have a number of
yeah, sure.
things for you. We're not going to spend all day together. Everyone, she does have an
Oh, too
appointment
bad.
later, but I am going to
I
do
gotta go see
this.
Leela. I'm actually gonna go see
Gee,
her.
and I
Yes,
hope Leela figured that out, or you can message her
yes,
and tell her
yes,
just go to YouTube and
yes,
NATV and not use that
yes.
link. But she hasn't been back. I hope she's not mad. I
No,
love
I'm
you. I
sure she's
really
very
do
cool.
appreciate it. Sorry about that.
No, she's the best
I
person
had
in
to
the
kick her
world.
out a couple of times, and she's going like, "Why did I keep kicking me out?"
Yes.
Okay, so here we go. I'm going to put a picture up, and you just
Okay.
have at it because you trust me and you
Okay.
came on the
Yeah.
show. Like
All
all my
right.
guests trust
You're
me.
kind
Here
of
we go.
scaring me now. Oh, okay.
When was that?
All right. So this was taken, Gary. I want to give credit to the amazing photographer, Gary Cheroff, who basically is a big rock star photographer. He's a friend of my husband's, and he took that for my last book. It was during COVID. Was it during? No, it was right before. Oh, 2020. So it was during COVID. Yeah.
Mhm.
So it was when we
Okay.
were just starting to go out. Yeah. But
What
my
book was
hair is
this?
shorter now. That was Last Stop on the Six, and that's it's a family story about somebody who leaves because she thinks that she caused her brother to be paralyzed. I know this is a comedy, even though it doesn't sound that way. And
Wow.
she gets called back after not being home for 10 years for her brother's wedding. And when she shows up, because the mother guilts her, and this is very funny, dysfunctional family in the Bronx. And when she shows up, the brother has disappeared.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
Hmm.
she's got to try to figure out where her brother is, and he's supposed to be getting married, and all these other stuff like happens from there. And then the other one brother is also a bug artist, which is my favorite character of all.
A
So he
bug
makes,
artist? Is that what you said?
yeah, makes sculptures out of bugs and all these like live performances out of bugs. And yeah, I'm very kind of bug obsessed. So
Performances out of bugs?
yeah, with bugs, yes.
With bugs.
Yes. Well, this book too. I mean, if you read my books, you'll learn a lot about exterminating. And one fun fact and this is important. People worry so much about mice. Here's the good thing about mice. If you have mice, you don't have rats. So when you
There you go.
see that, yeah. So
Just because you said that, I'm looking all the wrong places. Here we go. Just because you said that, information that we all need.
Yeah.
Thank you very
No,
much.
it's
Appreciate
very
it.
helpful.
Audience
I know
cheering.
it,
Thank you so much. Really appreciate that.
Made me feel better.
If you have mice, you should be very content that you don't have rats. Other than that, don't let them nibble on you when you're sleeping.
Yes,
So another picture, and just here we go.
Okay,
Same time frame?
About a year earlier than that. Yeah, I look very different in a lot of the photographs that I take. That was another wonderful artist. Photographer. Yeah, around the same time. These were all the books that I did for Last Stop on the 6th when, but everything was COVID. So used all these photos and did everything online. And so it's nice to be back in person. But yeah, but I look a lot younger than I probably do right now because I've aged a lot in the last few years. Aggravation.
So if you had to say, let's just pick two things about you from those pictures till now that you truly appreciate about your growth in yourself, two things you like about yourself. What are two things you like about yourself from that time frame till now?
See, two things about it like myself. Well, there's so many things. No, I'm kidding. All right, that's not true. Well, I will say though, no, two things about myself.
You're so humble.
Yeah, you know what? Well, I kind of am. I'm a lot more confident. What I love. Okay,
let me tell you how humble I am.
Yes. Let me tell you how humble I am. I think those pictures. There's something about the expressions on those pictures where the person in those pictures.
Yeah.
And I work with great photographers because I'm not photogenic, so I have. And so, but
those are great pictures. You look fantastic.
They are great because I had great photographers.
Oh, okay. All right.
But what I really love about the expression on those faces is like that's somebody that says like I'm a badass, don't mess with me, right?
Is that what it is? You can get a leather jacket like Wendy now?
I do have a leather jacket, and I also did stand up, and that was my whole thing. You? Yes. Is
this us getting to those two things, or are you gonna
yes.
are you trying to deviate from the two things?
But stand up was the hardest thing I've ever did. But
two things you like about yourself.
Two things you like about
yourself.
Oh, okay. That I am now the kind of person who talks to strangers on the street.
Awesome.
No. In New York City,
I can't believe that.
I don't go into the city that often. I went to the city to meet my editor, and I was just like past this young couple, and I'm like they were taking a picture, and I'm like, hey, I'll take a picture for you, and they're like, no. They wanted to take a selfie. It was some sort of thing they were like doing, and I'm like,
right.
No, let me take a picture. And then I was like, I was just talking, having conversations with people, and everyone just starts talking. Yeah, and this is in New York City, so that's what I really like, talking to people, and I like. I've always been noisy. I think there's a writer in me, but I used to drive my friends crazy. Even in high school, we'd be sitting at a diner and they'd be trying to talk to me, but I'm listening to the conversation behind me. And I'm like, Did you hear what that woman just said? And they're like, what are you talking about? And so now I will just turn around and talk to that woman because I'm not as shy as I used to be. Yeah.
Okay. So that's one.
Yeah.
You're not as shy as you used to be.
No,
you actually accost and almost assault strangers to take their picture.
What else? Nice way.
What's in a nice way? What's another thing that you appreciate about yourself?
That I used to like. All right, my friends, especially my friends in California, when they used to go out in nature and do stuff, they're like, "You want to come hiking?" And I'm like, "No, a tree is just a tree." All right. So now.
I don't know what to say about
know.
These are things I had no idea. That is,
but now
a tree is just a tree. That's the name of a book or a chapter.
No, but I've changed my mind about that, and I started going hiking and doing a lot of outdoor stuff.
Wow.
And these friends, especially in California, would be like, "Who the hell are you?" And I'm like, "People grow, they change." But during COVID, I started gardening for the first time because there was very few things to do during at home, and besides writing about the serial killer. And I'm very proud of all the stuff I've done with my plants that I've brought back to life and all that kind of stuff. So I'm very proud of my green thumb that I never had before.
After having so many serial killers that put things out of life and out of commission, you're bringing things back to life. If you had to say...
Oh, yeah. I know what I also like.
Go ahead. Okay. Yes. Oh, there's a third one. No, there's a third one. Go ahead.
I love working with writers, aspiring writers especially, and helping them tell their stories. And I think I'm very good at that. And I do really enjoy that a lot because I think... Everybody thinks that, somebody out there is a writer or you're a writer or you have more talent. And it's not about talent, it's tenacity. And everybody has a story and everybody can write their story if they want to or tell their story in a way that should be told. So I am really a believer of that. I mean, it's something that people think you just say, but I really mean that a lot.
It's not about talent. It's about tenacity, you said.
Oh, totally. Because I know people that have the most talent in the world and don't go anywhere because they don't care or they don't stick with it. And I know people who have like struggled as writers and then they wound up becoming really successful because they worked at it and they put the days and the hours in it and they took the rejection and the pain, which, by the way, every other week I'm giving up writing because I can't stand it anymore. Like the world out there and the rejection and all that. But then you can't, you don't have a choice. You got to do it. You got to tell your story. If you have a choice, go do something else. But anyway.
Yeah. And the way you tell a story, it leaves room for those aspiring writers to get an idea of how they can explore their creativity. I like your tenacity. Every time you open your mouth, there's tenacity that comes out. You named three things. That was awesome. Go ahead. You were going to say
one thing. No, what I love about this is I love that you like that I interrupt because I'm like one of those people.
That's not a problem.
I interrupt so much.
That doesn't bother me now.
You know, my husband like punches me in the leg kindly, and when we were like at dinners with people to remind me, like, okay, would you let somebody else talk? And I'm like, okay, that's right. All right, yeah.
Listen, the key to having a great show with you is for you to be free. And so the more you're free, no, you know the parameters of the show, so that's because it's. But you know what boundaries you can work with. Once you know the parameters, I like to see you unleashed doing as you do.
But I got to be very careful because I'm one of those people that put both feet into their mouth.
You're going to say that. I just can't help it. I'm going to pivot now and put this up. So when it comes to this book,
I heard that's a great book.
Her Father's Daughter. Everyone, please put the pizza down, as I say here on this channel, and go get this book. Why should they read this book with the lights?
Okay, so it's
off.
Okay.
Should they read it with the lights off or on?
What do you think? A lot of people probably with the lights on.
Okay.
But it depends. If like it's if you kind of like this kind of you like serial killers, you like horror. But it's also a love story.
How is that a love story? Without giving it away.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of love story in it, but it is a really love story between a father and a daughter.
What's the main character's name?
The main character, there's two main characters.
Oh, the father. Excuse me, the father. What is the father's name?
So the father's persona that he took on is Anthony Donovan.
And the daughter?
And the daughter is Linda Donovan. I'm like, what was her name? Oh my God, I almost forgot.
So does Linda have any qualities or traits like you, or does Anthony have quality and traits like you?
Oh, I think they both do. But I think her traits, she's more, if I was going to compare her to myself at all, it was like in my more days. Well, you know what? No, I actually used to kind of like, I would have gone to bat to try to prove my father, defend my father under any circumstances. Right. So it's a little bit like me when I was younger, she's also a little bit more like, insecure about herself, but she's also very confident in the same way. Well, she's a conundrum, which I guess I'm a Gemini. So I kind of have two sides of my personality. The father is like me in the sense of, I don't know. Is he like me? He's just complicated. And I don't know. I got to say, this is the first book that I've written, honestly, where even though the characters are based on certain attributes of people I know, overall, it's probably the most fictional work I've ever done. And I'm more close to these characters than any characters that I've written based on people that I knew, which is kind of interesting. I feel like these people are alive. And sometimes that does creep me out.
What was it like living with someone who's an exterminator?
Oh, I mean, I loved it. I mean, it was great, talking at dinner time. I mean, people come over, friends would eat, and we just going off on this stuff. And my mom would be like, shut up. I'm like, what's the big deal? Science projects, I guess, to bring bed bugs in. I had all this stuff. And my dad would take me. But the best thing also about being an exterminator is my dad would also take me on some of his stops in the city. And he exterminated all kinds of people. He exterminated the Rolling Stones apartment once without even realizing what it was until he left. So but he's had all kinds of experiences. And my father was a real people person, knew every character actor in the world. And if you saw a celebrity, and he would talk to celebrities all the time, but just in conversation. But if there was a very famous person, you were not allowed to go up and ask them for autographs. But if it was a character actor, because he knew every character actor in the world, he says those people work so hard. And he would make us, even though we'd be really embarrassed, to go and ask them for their autograph. And we were like, Dad, we don't want to do this. Like, you have to make them feel important. And it made a big difference. So,
Cool.
yeah.
Cool. You have any autographs still down to this day or no?
Yeah, I have a ton. I don't throw anything away. So
Yeah, wow.
I try
You
not to
don't
be
throw
a
anything
hoarder.
away? Huh? You don't throw
Yeah,
anything
well, I've
away?
gotten better at throwing things away,
How
but
does your
it's
partner?
hard.
How does your partner feel about that?
He's worse than I am. Are you
Oh
kidding
my
me?
gosh,
He's in
you
the
guys are
music
made.
business.
Guys are made
He's
for each
got
other.
like 5,000. He's probably got 35,000 CDs in the basement.
Ooh, my goodness.
And we have one broken CD player. I'm like, what are you doing with all these things? I was like, he said,
Like
well,
having tons of
get a
albums
new one. Yeah,
and a
exactly. You get,
broken
like
record player.
actually vinyl, all
Yeah.
this kind of stuff. So
Oh,
any,
wow.
musician and all that. And I appreciate that. So, I mean, like, we're both
What type
artists
of
that are struggling.
what type of music?
Well, he was in the music industry for a long time, and he plays, classic rock and roll. He's a bass player.
Okay.
So,
All right.
yeah.
All
So
right.
he's a great editor too. He reads all my work, and it's funny because my last marriage was also somebody who read all my work and a lot of my relationships. So I don't marry for money. I marry for editing skills because that's kind of like you go with what you're gonna get. So
Do they ever really go to sleep at night, or do they leave one eye open if
Well,
you
it's
decide to
funny.
experiment and become
So,
a human
all right, so-
exterminator?
yeah, my husband's always kind of saying, he kind of jokes around and says I got to leave one eye open, but he does know that I know many, many ways that
Oh my goodness.
that you could kill someone and get away with it. So when I
that you and Debbie had that discussion.
yeah, well, and she knows too. I mean,
Canadian
it's like,
police and other
yes,
things
yeah,
on our
no,
first
there's just
show.
things, and some people are just like really dumb. I'm like, how I get almost frustrated about how these people like why even like somebody robbed somebody. Like I think it was they robbed these Porsches out of a Porsche place, Porsche place, whatever, a car
I know what
place.
you mean. I know what you mean.
Porsche.
Right. Huh?
And why'd they get caught? Because they were driving around. They didn't, like,
Joyriding.
yes,
Joyriding
these
and stealing
$100,000
Porsches.
cars. They should
Like
have
nobody's going to pay
sold it
attention
right
to that
away.
Porsche.
I was like, are you kidding me? It's just
Let's
like, yeah.
chase that Hyundai instead of that
Yes,
Porsche over there.
Exactly. Exactly.
Hey, so
so-
out of curiosity, since that's the case, do you watch crime shows?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Okay,
Last
so now
night,
here we go. Let's start.
I was up
go
all last
ahead.
night.
No, go ahead. I got one for you.
No,
but go
there
ahead.
was a
You're gonna say.
yeah, go ahead. No, there's a show that my friend Mary said, "Oh, I really love the show," and now it's kind of like, oh my God, what is the name of it? But I said, don't start me on this, and I got like so involved with the show that I stayed up like 8 hours watching
Oh
it.
my
And I
goodness.
was just like, okay, so she just came in from the other room, and it's Deadlock. Great show,
Okay.
and it takes place in Tasmania. She's kind of throwing me my lines. All right, so but I'm telling you. She went to bed, and I was like, I'll stay
off-camera
up.
production going on over
No,
there.
I
Go ahead.
stayed up until 5 a.m. watching that show because I had to
Okay,
watch the whole
so
season.
you just mentioned the show.
yeah.
So I'm gonna name some shows because
Okay.
I don't mind getting in trouble. You either thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever you want to say. So CSI,
No,
Law and Order.
I used to. Oh, and
Okay.
but I do watch my favorite Law and Order is Law and Order, the SUV, whatever, Special
I don't
Victims
remember.
Unit.
Yeah, I got you.
No,
Okay,
that I
okay.
like, yeah.
Okay, so you ready? I'm gonna do some more. These are gonna be weird, by the way. So just hang in
No.
there. Okay. I'm gonna throw a mixture of crime shows, stuff like that, and just regular television. You just have
Okay.
at it. Okay, you ready? Okay,
Yeah.
so we just did those, got those out of the way.
Yeah.
Perry Mason.
Yeah, I love it, but it also like is so. I mean, what I love about Barry Mason, because you can watch it now, like in black and white, is like he wins every case, and he doesn't have to do anything. All he does
I
is
want
like
to talk to you when there's no cameras.
No,
I told
he's
you I
just
got a
like-
whole nother channel that we're gonna have a thing where there's.
Yeah, no,
Go
I
ahead.
love the fact that he just
Go.
talks to people and gets them to confess on the stand, and I'm like, he
Just
never
like you were gonna
loses.
say it.
I mean, it's just like that's all he
Okay,
does.
wait,
is
wait,
just-
I got it more before you have to go because we got a little bit of life. Then
Yeah,
I know
okay,
you gotta
sorry, go ahead.
So here we go. Okay, so we said that one. Columbo.
Oh, I watched Columbo, the entire all Columbo like 4
You're
times
the
in a row.
best. Okay, all right. We're gonna talk more. This is okay. So the
The
next
whole-
one. Here we go. Sherlock Holmes.
Okay,
Okay, now.
yeah, it's okay.
Do you prefer shows that are stateside or do you prefer foreign language, Norwegian, or whatever it may be?
Okay,
What do you
so I'm
prefer?
gonna- all right,
Irish.
all right. So here's like a little confession because my friends used to drive me crazy with all this like BritBox and the Australian shows and the Scottish and my friend was like from the Norwegian and all that. And then I just started like, there was nothing else for me to watch. And I got really hooked on it. So I got to say they do some really
I
good
don't
stuff.
believe it. I don't
Yeah,
believe
I
you
know.
just said that. I
know.
can't believe you said that. Okay, you and I
I
got
know.
to talk. You
But
and I got
Monk.
to talk.
Monk
I
is one of my favorites.
Oh, no, you beat me.
Oh,
Are
sorry.
you
Sorry.
producing the
Sorry.
show now? Are you running
Yeah,
the show
sorry.
directly?
Well, I can ask you questions. You didn't tell
This
me
is
one
2 days
family
in a row.
secret.
I
You
just
told
had
me
that
you were
happen
going
to
to
me
tell
the
me
other
one
day.
family
Somebody did
secret.
the same thing. It's like, oh, do you guys got cameras in here or something?
Yeah.
Okay, so I
No.
was saving that. Okay, we're
All
going to
right.
get to that in
Sorry.
just a second. No, that was the last one I was going to do. It's a staple in our house here.
You're going to
That
tell me
show.
one family
But anyway,
secret, though, before we end, right?
I
Okay.
am going to tell you that too. So here we go. So there's a whole contingent of people who like what you just said, the Norwegian shows and all that watch this channel. And one of these days, I'm going to do a show that talks about that. What do you like about some of those shows? Well, I don't know. Have you ever watched Shetland, for example, and others? I don't know. There's tons of shows.
Yeah.
We
Well,
could go on
because
and
it's
on.
like
Which ones do you like? Which ones have
well,
caught your attention, I should say?
well, it's like because the pacing, and I'm not saying that a lot of American
Yes.
shows don't do
No,
this, but
I
there's something
get what
about
you're
the
saying.
pacing, and there's just this. Everything seems a little, it's also like a lot about psychological stuff, right? It's about
It's
the
more
head.
psychological
Yes,
than
it's
it
not
is.
just pacing a car for 5,000
Yeah,
hours, right?
and all that
Yeah.
kind of like. And
So
then,
they really
yeah.
get into the head of these characters, and
Yeah.
and again, so many of the villains are so complicated that you like really.
Well, you don't know
like,
whether they're good or bad.
No, you don't know whether they're good or bad,
The
and
way
then
they
sometimes
write it.
both.
Yeah, and then you go like, oh my goodness, they did it. It's
Like Killing Eve,
didn't
I
say
just
it.
started
Yeah,
watching
I get what
that.
you're saying. I get what
And
you're saying. Yeah.
and
A number of things.
the villain in Killing Eve, man, like I want to meet her.
Okay, so we're
You
going to
know?
dump in the family secret right now. So here's our family secret.
Okay.
This is very important to us.
All right.
We
I
like
don't want to get you in
eating.
trouble.
Oh, you can give me. Hey, I'm the daddy. What trouble am I going to get into?
Oh, that's when
Is
you
it-
get in a lot of trouble.
No, we got
Okay.
a whole bunch of them. I'm just going to give you one.
Yeah, okay.
You can figure out whatever
right.
scale, good or bad. But the family secret, very important. We don't like being bothered by people who annoy us.
Oh, come on. How's that a secret?
Look at you. I saw the look
How
on your
is
face.
that a secret?
You're full of it. I'm not. I'll
No,
give you-
my
I say-
secret is I don't like people. But anyway,
I know that. That's why I'm intrigued. You're talking to strangers.
I like being around
You said
people
the
and
first-
strangers. No, strangers
That's
are
because you
great.
watch them and you're nosy listening
Yes,
to their
exactly,
conversation.
yeah,
That's
I'm
why
really
you like
nosy.
people.
That's why,
All
yeah.
right, that's it for your family secret today. Okay, I got to get to Monk before we end the show because I
Okay.
don't want to run out. We're in 44 minutes, everybody, and I've got more that I wanted to do with her, but I wanted to make sure to get as much in as possible.
And just
but I
make
love
sure,
the conversation.
Look, and I want
Yes.
to just tell everybody just quickly, Her Father's Daughter, wonderful book, great story, but I don't care if you read it, just buy it. Okay, it's really
Yeah,
hard
you
being an
say
author.
that all the time.
Well, it's because
Okay,
publishing is so hard, and we all gotta like make it
I'm
somehow.
telling these people they better get a copy. Get a copy. Leave the
Audiobook,
lights off.
Kindle, any
Leave
way
the-
you
no,
want.
I'm just kidding. Audio, the audio, whatever.
No, I
you
know,
wanna
and
do.
it
Yeah.
has actually the best compliments I've got is that people couldn't put it down, but it creeped them out a lot. So
Oh yeah.
that means
Well, let's just
because I
you know
want
what?
to get into
Let's creep
people
them out
under
again
their
and put it in
skin.
their face one more time.
Yes, I want to get under your
Let's
skin.
Let's go. Let it get
And I
under
want to
your
hear what
skin.
you think. Yeah, you can
There you
contact
go.
me on my website, send me notes. I get back to you. I get back to everybody.
Okay, now we're going to get to Monk in a second, but you just mentioned
Okay.
the other thing I wanted to do, and I'm just going to do this real quick. Just hang in there. I'm going to move some things around here, and I'm going to grab something here, and it's right there. Just hang in there. I'm going to put it up on the screen, and let me move over here. And this is happening in real time, people. You get us real time, live. That's what we do here. Bam. Gonna do that.
Well,
We're
better
gonna
live
do
than dead.
that. Okay, so here's the website, everybody. Just hold on a second, everybody. Let me just move this over here like that, and you get to watch me do this, boringly do that. So here we go. This is your website here, correct? Oh, we're gonna,
And it's
I'm gonna
TM Dunn, author at
click that
gmail.com.
there. Okay, that's what it
Patricia
looks
Dunn,
like right
author
there.
at gmail.com.
All right. So from your website, everybody, please go ahead and get a gut wrenching thriller from
Yes,
the
well,
twisted.
can I
I'm putting the word
yes.
twisted in there. Twisted mind of Lady Dunn. I call her Lady Dunn. The trio calls you Lady Dunn because that's the name I gave you. T.M. Dunn or Pat Dunn. Go ahead. You were going to say Pat.
And I got to say, so Tessa Wegert, who's like author of the Shana Merchant series, so she's like one of my favorite thriller writers. So she blurred my book, and to this day, like, I put me over the moon. But she wrote easily one of the best original and unnerving serial killer stories I've read. So
Wow.
whether I believe she meant it, but that really is like, 'cause it's hard to say nice things about your own book, but it's nice that a lot of people really have gone into it, especially people that like are thriller readers and stuff, because I go deep.
You go deep.
And
Last
if you
stop
don't like
on the
it,
6th.
just don't.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't like it, no,
don't
that's it.
Don't you can let
Give
me
it-
know, but do not give me a review. Don't whatever. Only put 5
No,
stars. Don't like it.
Give it to the guy that picks up your garbage, or give it to the
Yes,
the
exactly.
person
Give
that
it to
has the
somebody that you
donut
wanna
shop
check out.
or whatever it
Yes.
may be. Give it to somebody for their lunch break. Last stop on the 6th, a novel Real quick, if you had to
And get on
summarize
Kindle
this so
too.
that people will want to grab a copy, how would you summarize The Last Stop on the Six?
Okay, so it's a family story full of secrets, but it takes place. It's an Italian-American story about this very dysfunctional, crazy family, a missing brother, and it's hilarious.
Got it. All right.
And it's
Now
actually you want to know about my
Amazon
family?
and
Read that book.
Kindle,
Read,
everybody. Say it again one more time, please.
You want to know about my family? You want to know my real family
really?
secrets? Read that book. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then you got a number of other things there.
Well, Key to the Castle workshop. I take people to Italy, and I take people all over the world.
Where's that?
And they write
Where
and
was that
paint
again?
and all that stuff.
Key to the Castle.
Key to the Castle
Nice.
workshop.com. You can find out about Italy. You can find out about all the other places that we go.
Nice. Everybody, please make yourselves available to be a part of this. If you want to go to Italy, reach out to Pat. Okay, so Pat.
And if you want to write or any information, like just go. Either people can write me through my website, and if they're writing a story themselves, or whatever, just reach out to me. I get back to you.
All right. Now, Monk.
Yes.
What is it with the monk? Why a lot of people
so
love
great?
Monk. Yeah.
Because he is a character that is so flawed, but the flaws either get in his way or they either make him the genius that he is. So he may be like, you'll see him. He's afraid of heights, but he'll like go upstairs and then he can't go down, so he can't get the bad guy. But it's the same things that make him so like kind of nutty. Is that where he can look around a room and he can see things other people can't see. Yeah. And there's just something just about the complicated character that he is that just makes him so interesting to watch. So Columbo came first, then Monk, and I think Monk is like one step like above Columbo. Sorry about that, Columbo and Peter Falk, but yeah.
Peter Falk's team is going. His fans are going to be looking for you.
Exactly. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay. So, if you had to describe your experience, you've been on 2 shows on the NATV Podcast Network. This is our particular book podcast. We like to promote books and authors that we enjoy their personality and who they are. I really like you. I like your entire team. I like Wendy. I browbeat Wendy to death and had her on a number of times. And I'm going to do the same to you
and I told
and Debbie.
Like you were like the most fun podcast I think I've ever been on. I'm not trying to kiss butt or anything here, but you have a way of making, because I was nervous. People don't ever think I'm nervous, but I was nervous, and you have a way of like calming me down and letting me just be me, and you don't get upset when I interrupt. So I got to love you for that.
Oh man, I love it when you interrupt. It reminds me of my 3 sisters. But what I was going to say is, listen, there's something about you that the audience loves. The same with Debbie and the same with Wendy. But I do want to say this: you have made your mark, and your old radio days have come out.
Oh, that's
because
right.
I'm telling you, I do a lot of shows.
California.
I've done a lot of shows, and I've done a lot of different things. And I'm telling you, you have a way that's pure radio when you did this. And I know a lot of people are going to write me back and say they enjoyed listening to it because 90% of the people listen to the show. So thank you so much for today.
No, and thank you to all your listeners for listening.
You've done 2 shows. Yeah. You've done 2 shows. And I know you got to go. You got an appointment you got to do. But you've done 2 shows here. What is it that you have experienced here that you can use in the future when you write a book? Is there anything about us that you could put into a book in the future?
Well, yeah, I'm actually like thinking about putting in a podcaster in no, but a podcaster that's old radio. No, but there is something about like radio. I mean, that lost art. I know I'm aging myself, but there's something wonderful when podcasts started. And my daughter was listening to these things. I'm like, "You listen to radio?" No, I'm listening to a podcast. I'm like,
I know that's radio. The term now, but it's still radio.
And you also have your personality.
Still
there's just something that we could just be on ourselves and just talk. It's not this formal like reading a script. We're not reading scripts, and I've done a lot of that script stuff too. And it's like, I feel like, and I also feel like you're genuinely engaged, and you're not just like doing your like 15-second like, oh, what do you think about this? Or you got 2 seconds to say what you're going to say. So
yeah. Listen, you've made it a pleasure. All 3 of you have made it a pleasure. Everybody, please expect to see them back here on NATV Network. Wait. And Friday is a really good day.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, you have no idea what's sitting in front of me that I haven't even asked you. You have no idea how much research I've done on you. And I didn't even spend time on your website. But we're going to do that again because the viewers love to see the author's website and other things. We haven't done that with you yet. We will have another show one-on-one like this, and we'll do that. But I do want to tell you, it is an honor to have you on today.
Thank you.
And especially on a Friday. Friday means a lot on our channel for our viewers. A lot of mainly women have time to read a book, and this is the day they do it over the weekend. So they asked us to have shows on Friday dealing with authors.
And thank you to everybody.
So
Actually,
I appreciate it. Yeah.
You know, I joke around, but everybody that's still reading books and that, you know, I mean, stories change the world. And thank you for,
Thank you so much. You're awesome.
Yeah.
Now listen,
you're awesome too.
Everybody, get ready. We're gonna wave at you goodbye. Pat's gonna go. I'm gonna torture you a little bit, and then I'm done for the weekend until next week. Next week, Monday. I know most of you know regularly I don't do shows on Monday, but come back on Monday. We're looking to have somebody really special that comes on Monday. I can't tell you, but look for the posting on our homepage, and I know you'll get a treat out of it. And I've got it. You got to let me know. You got to let me know, Pat, when I can get all three of you back together again. Hopefully that'll be next week sometime or whenever you guys are available.
Yeah, we'd love to.
All right.
We'll
work it out. I'll see you later, my friend. Everybody, we're
Thank
waving
you.
at you goodbye.
Bye.
Buy the book, people. Don't be cheap. Get the book.
That's right. Or get the Kindle, get the audiobook, whatever.
That's right. Get the book.
That's right.
All right. We'll see you later.
Okay. Bye.
Wait. Buy two. I like what you said. Wait. Buy two. Buy two, like she said. Buy one for a friend. That way you can have a book reading party together.
All right. Book clubs. Buy 10.
There you go. All right. We'll see you later, my friend. Thank you. Bye. All right, everybody. Get ready for the torture. I'm going to spend a little bit of time with you because I got to let you know what's happening next week and throughout the month. If you're still hanging around, that's fine. You can do that. But by all means, make sure that you, here we go, pick up a copy of her book. I'm doing something here. You guys know how this goes. I'm doing something for you today. So here we go. End of the week. We've had a very busy week, a lot of things happening. But right now, you know, you always ask me for music on my way out, and I'm going to show you what's going to be coming. So let's see here. I got something for you. And Pat was awesome. Totally awesome. Totally awesome. So what's going on here? Did I lose everything? There we go. All right, so pick a copy of Pat's book. I call her Lady Dunn. You've got to experience her streaming with you live, dealing with family secrets, psychological thriller, and a whole lot more. But what's important to me more than anything else is that you come back to hear more from these three ladies. Make sure that you come back and see all of them. But today is Pat's day. Love her to death. She's an awesome person. What's coming? What's coming your way? There are a number of shows coming your way here on NATV Network, the home of NATV Podcasts and NATV Radio. We're going to take this opportunity to remind you of our show coming this Monday. We haven't posted yet. We've just solidified everything today. And you're going to enjoy a treat. We don't do shows on Monday, but we will for this man that's coming. You're going to get a treat. He has an amazing book. What a beautiful follow-up to this amazing show we just had for you today. You travel around YouTube and scrolling everywhere else, but when you're done, make sure you come on back to us. NATV Network. When you get a chance, make sure you go over to the State of Grace, especially today and all of next week. Make sure you support Grace and her channel, State of Grace on YouTube. Make sure you support Susie with the Z podcast. The upcoming shows coming your way. Hope you're able to check them out as well. Time for me to skedaddle. Guys, stay out of trouble. Remember now, stay out of trouble. I see you guys still there. I can see you hanging out with me. NATV Network. This has been fun. Susie's coming. Deborah's coming. Sybil. Julia was just here yesterday. More coming your way. We'll post when they will be here. Join us again on Monday. Oh, man, you guys are going to have fun. Just like today. Loved it. Awesome. I know you're saying, why doesn't he go away? Free TV right here on NATV Network.